supposed to join from next week. But it feels pretty good signing that contract and knowing that I have a full-time job and not have to constantly stress about finding new opportunities. And I know most importantly, preparing for interviews and constantly applying for interviews, because applying for interviews, applying for jobs feels like a full-time job itself. So yeah, it feels pretty nice to have that pressure off my shoulder.
I'm here with my client, Mehdi, who joined Dev Mastery just 1 month ago and already managed to land a fully remote software engineering role. And we are here to break down how he did it. So, Mehdi, maybe the best place to start is just going back a month ago when you came to join the program. What was your situation career-wise?
So about a month ago, I would say I was kind of in the middle of unemployment and contractor role. So I was working for a contractor position where the tasks were inconsistent, and I was just laid off from my past role from IBM as a software engineer. So I feel like 1 month ago I did have the IBM role in my bag, but I feel like um, I lacked a lot of expertise in like designing systems from scratch and coming up with blueprinting and coming up with technical design before implementing a feature. So that's the part where I was at, and yeah, and I can talk about that part, like the way I am right now. But I feel like I lacked a lot of technical skills that even though the job required me to have, I just had the coding skills. But now AI can do a lot of the coding itself. So I like the blueprinting, the technical designing, system design portion of the skill set.
Yeah. So after being laid off from IBM, you landed this contractor role, right? What was the issue with that? Like, is it that it was not stable, or why were you looking for a new role?
So the contractor role, first of all, they were giving away tasks as per the demand of the client. So whenever the client demanded that or like requested there needs to be tasks completed, they would assign tasks to software engineers like me. But it was pretty inconsistent. There were some dry months, just like last month, it was pretty dry. The month before, especially I think December was pretty good. January was okay, but February and March was pretty dry. And it was pretty inconsistent. And also, I was only reviewing at that contractor position, I was only reviewing outputs from AI. So AI generated code. That did help my skill set as well. But it did not help me the way I wanted to, because I wanted to learn about system design, about building new features, um, getting my code reviewed, getting constructive criticism on my code and how I worked on a feature. So yeah, I would say inconsistency and the learning path that I was going through was not what I wanted. So that's why I wanted a full-time role.
Yeah, I see. But what did you do that time? Like, have you tried landing the new role, going through interviews on your own before coming to the program?
Oh yes, I did. So I was laid off from IBM on October last year. So since October, while I was doing also the contractor work that started in November, so I was also trying to land interviews by myself. I was applying through LinkedIn, Indeed, Hiring Cafe, etc. These platforms, and crafted my resume by myself and wanted and interviewed for many different companies. But as I mentioned, like I lack those technical skills like system designs and designing features, blueprinting, technical documentation, etc. I felt like I was always getting stuck on those interviews because coding was not the primary requirement of those interviews. It was actually about my thought process, how I design systems from scratch, how I scale the systems, etc. So I feel like these are the things I lacked my technical expertise, and that's the reason I kept failing at those technical interviews.
Mm-hmm. So mostly it was about architectural and system design interviews that you were failing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There are some also some lead code interviews that I also failed. Is because although I practiced lead code, a lot of the problem sets, for example, lead code 150, but I feel like when those are the things that I do on my own when no one's watching. But the fact that I have to actively communicate my thought process when I'm giving the interview, like describing what I need to do and then coding myself, and the fact that someone is watching me live, it had a different impact. And I ended up in many different occasions, like even though I knew what to do, I ended up making silly mistakes, syntactical issues, or just like completely forgetting my thought process because the pressure itself was something different.
And what do you feel like the interviews, the preparation for interviews we did, was that helpful for that part, like live coding and also other stages?
Yeah, for after I joined the Dev Mastery course, I feel like that is one of the main parts or the most significant part that helped me a lot. So I did multiple mock interviews for system design, for coding, lead code question, and for um, feature implementation from backend to front end using different frameworks. So I feel like those are the things that helped me the most because that sort of thing to talk to the interviewer during the interview phase, explaining my thought process, and also handling questions from the interviewer. That is another important part that I was not getting when I was just doing the practicing the coding or system design myself, is that handling the follow-up questions. So having the follow-up questions from someone knowledgeable who knows about it, and then like coming up with answers or justification of why I took that decision on the fly, it really like boosted my skills and forced me to think before implementing a solution blindly. So yeah, that definitely helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. Great. And now that you have the offer, like received the offer from this company for the new role, and you said it's fully remote, right? So how does that feel compared to the previous contractor role you had?
As I mentioned, that the previous contractor role was pretty inconsistent. It was remote as well, but it was pretty inconsistent. I'm gonna be honest. The one of the main reasons, as I mentioned, the consistency, like getting a paycheck every month, is pretty important, I guess, for everyone. So not having that is a bit scary, considering this market where everyone keeps saying that AI is taking over and the software engineering job market is pretty bad. It is, but I guess people with actual skills can still land jobs. So compared to that, now I landed this remote offer. Which I haven't joined yet. I'm supposed to join from next week, but it feels pretty good signing that contract and knowing that I have a full-time job and not have to constantly stress about finding new opportunities, and I know most importantly preparing for interviews and constantly applying for interviews, because applying for jobs feels like a full-time job itself. So yeah, it feels pretty nice to have that pressure off my shoulder.
What do you think on that part of a lot of software engineers complaining that there are not enough opportunities or AI is taking over the jobs after going through these interview processes? How do you feel? Like, do companies still need good software engineers, or is it all maybe all jobs are gone or something like that?
I mean, yeah, the doom theory is that all jobs are gone are still there. I mean, considering this job market is pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, this is I landed this offer after 6 months of continuous application. Also because I didn't have the proper guide before. That's also one thing. So I think many software engineers lack that. Uh, um, a fully like a system or a blueprint or a framework where how should they prepare for interviews, how should they craft their resume, how should they craft their LinkedIn profile, and how should they present and sell themselves, sell their skill set, basically. So I think a lot of us as engineers, we lack that skill because we are often, many of us are just code monkeys. We just know how to write code, how to design systems, etc. But the fact that I have to present and sell my skill set is also a skill in itself. So that's definitely one of the things that I think is keeping away or as acting as a barricade for a lot of good software engineers even. Even though they have the skill set, they cannot present it. So that's one thing. But also another thing is companies definitely do need software engineers. AI is still writing the majority of the code. Even the company that I'm working on, I'm going to be working for, they have like 100% agentic workflow. So the hiring manager claimed that they do not write any of the code. Most of the code is written, all of the code is written by AI. Uh, but I think just producing code from AI and shipping that code is technical debt. That's not going to survive in the long run. And you and the company definitely need good engineers to review that code and to make sure that whatever code is being generated by AI is actually sensible and can we can weigh the trade-offs versus there could be multiple solutions to one problem and not every solution could be a right fit for my technical design or the my requirements. So someone with software engineering skill set definitely needs to review the code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Uh, and also about this new role that you landed, can you also walk us through the offer itself as much as you're comfortable sharing with?
Right. So the new job I'm working at is the company is called Procurify. So it's a mid-sized company currently working on a SaaS platform for mid-market company budget. So company can track their expenditure, their hiring process, how they manage the expenses between the companies, how to request. So, for example, a company joined company using their platform, how do they request for more budget or how those budgets get approved. So these sort of things are usually handled by the SaaS platform. Regarding the offer, I landed an offer as a software engineer two position. So as a mid-level software engineer with 110K Canadian salary, base salary, and on top of that there's bonus and there's bonus and also stock options. Um, but the most exciting part of that job is probably the fact that it's completely remote. Uh, yeah, so I can work on my own. I can work on my according to my own schedule. Yeah.
That's great. Uh, so overall, it took you 5 to 6 months when you started applying, right? And you also mentioned the skills like selling your skills in interviews and all of this stuff that you need for landing. What would you say changed in the last month that made you pass the interviews compared to the previous months when you were applying?
Right. So I joined Dev Mastery a month ago. So before that, I was focusing more on the engineering section, like how to handle system design part, how to handle the coding part. But after joining the Dev Mastery program, I realized that even though I cannot complete a solution fully in an interview, it's still important to explain my thought process and how I think. Like it's important for the interviewer to know how I think, um, so they can still assess me based on my technical abilities. Because writing the code is now can be offloaded to AI itself. Um, so it's important to know how a person thinks or how they would implement a solution. Um, uh, I think it's more important than like producing the solution itself, because if I am starting to produce a solution that later needs to, if I don't require clarify the requirements, ask necessary questions, etc., before actually writing the solution itself, then I can go in a wrong direction, and that's tech debt in a nutshell. So I would say definitely after joining a month into the Dev Mastery course, I learned most importantly about system design, uh, different aspects of the system design, how it's actually handled in production, and how also the interviews need to be handled as well, since I did a lot of mock interviews. So how I need to present my skill set, how I need to communicate, and also the resume and LinkedIn part as well. This is also another important part, because it doesn't matter how good of an engineer I am, if my resume does not get past ATS, then there's no point. So having that skill is very important.
Hmm. And would you say there is is there something you got from being in the program that you couldn't get by watching YouTube videos or taking courses on Udemy or somewhere else?
Right, yeah, definitely. First of all, I would say the mock interviews. In the interview, I can definitely watch videos of mock interviews in YouTube. But as long as I'm not put in the hot seat and being asked the same question, being asked the same category follow-up question to justify my answers, it's not the same. It's similar like watching YouTube tutorials about coding videos and not implementing the feature yourself. So it's kind of the same thing. So being sit on the hot seat is a different thing, interview seat. That's definitely important. Um, Another part, I would say, the mentorship is definitely something important. Previously, I did not have a clear path or a roadmap of how I would see myself in the next couple of years, what I need to focus on. I just knew what the skills I lacked, and I needed to fulfill that skill set. But I did not know how to approach it, how to have a proper roadmap. So I think having a proper mentor is definitely important, because everyone's situation is different, and they have different requirements. So watching YouTube videos or doing Udemy courses, we don't get the same back and forth conversation that applies to my own requirements or my own position. Uh, so yeah, it's a game changer, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, happy to hear that. And maybe lastly, who would you recommend this program to? Like, what kind of engineer you think will get the most out of it by joining?
I think there's certainly not one size fits all. I think people have different requirements, and I think since I talked about the mentorship, I think the program is appropriate for people with less experience, as well as people with more experience or senior role as well, or senior position as well. Um, it's because, as I mentioned, someone could be a good engineer, but if they don't know how to sell themselves or sell their skill set, they might fall short, especially in this job market where like we have to be the top candidate, because for a single job, there are like thousands or hundreds and thousands of candidates applying for a single job. So it's definitely important to stand out, and also to have your resume, LinkedIn profile reviewed. These are another important things, um, which comes to the same sales tactic or the sales position of selling your skill set. And lastly, I would say the mock interviews. That is definitely a game changer, because interview in itself is just a skill set. Um, And like the more we sit on the interview seat and do interviews, mock interviews, the better we'll get at it. The better we'll be at handling tough questions and coming up with answers on the spot. So yeah, I think from all the way from junior position to senior level, I think this course, Dev Mastery, would be a good fit.
Also, kudos to your hard work, because of course I can show you the path, the roadmap, and also we can do the mock interviews. But if you don't show up or if you don't do the work, then of course only giving you the materials won't get you there, right? So
Right.
Congrats on the role again. Very happy that you landed it within a month, and yeah, wish you good luck in this new role, and we'll get also ready for the onboarding, of course, together.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can't help you enough, Ike. You've been really helpful. The whole Dev Mastery course, how it's structured, according to different skill set, does not just focus on coding or system design, but how to act as how to sell your skill set, how to position yourself, and how to design systems from scratch. So I think, yeah, design systems and features from scratch. I think these are all necessary skill set that we don't usually learn from anywhere else. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this program for engineers that are currently struggling, or they're not sure about the roadmap or the uncertain time we are at, since we're at the peak of using AI, and I think it's only gonna get better. So yeah, it's so something that every software engineer should reflect on about how their roadmap is, instead of just following their regular 9 to 5 and being done with their job.